Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Get ready to rumble!
You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
Remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Oh!
Derek's gonna get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Fantasy Sports and Politics. It's me, it's Mr. FSP, doing what I do because I do it for you all day, every day. How are you? I'm a little late. I thought I had scheduled this program yesterday or Friday, and apparently I didn't. I'm getting old. I've just become a grandfather, and I am thrilled and excited. This little girl is the new place in my heart, man. You know, got another one on the way too. So I got to make room. But right now, this little girl is everything to me. My Arizona Coyotes team I'm a part of, sponsoring as well. They did excellent yesterday in a match, as an exhibition, as if I'm high, but exhibition match versus the Arizona Gladiators, which is an outdoor team. They graciously supported us in this charity event and played without two left tackle, right tackle, and DNs pretty much. But everything else is the same. Good event, lot of energy, and it was a Toys for Tots event for the Geronimo Project, which is one of the owners slash coordinators brother, who I believe passed away. So it was an event where we knew it was going to be a good event just for that reason. Just for that reason. Fans in the stands, meaning our fans, their fans, family members, showed up, made noise, showed out, and they gave us a good environment, you know. So I want to give a lot of love to the Arizona Coyotes, which is this team. We had to protect the den. It was our first opportunity to face someone outside of our own jerseys. So of course, you know, you're gonna have some tension because you couldn't wait to hit and all that other stuff. But it was a wonderful event. One big thing I need to say is if you're in an organization in the community, that's one thing. But to serve that community through your organization is paramount. Just because you show up, you put a football jersey on, some pads, some cleats, and all that, and say you're representing a certain area, that doesn't mean that you actually are serving that area. And I am very proud of the Arizona Coyotes and what they mean to the community uh, in Phoenix. It's a little different, you know, it's a little different when you're putting on an event that's for someone or something, and you add a little extra oomph to it because you know you are the better team or the better organization, whatever it is. But those kids or that kid or whoever, they're depending on you to represent them and you help them. That's what it's all about. Athletics. That's what it's all about, right? It's fun at higher levels. You make money, make a lot of money, but for the most part, you're representing your area. That was on display yesterday. So I'm thankful to have been a part of it. Um, I look forward to more events that we're going to put on as we move toward our season. We look really good. No need to share the score. We won. Yes, we did. But the event for the kids is what matters. That's it. That is it. Okay. So, with that being said, it's time to get into our picks and our information. You know what? You know what? Let me find my music. Yeah. As that music revs up. Here we go. We've got the college football playoff. Boxing. And NFL today. So let's get right to it. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Firstly, I thought it was very disrespectful at how Anthony Joshua was introduced. No mention of him being a two-time unified world heavyweight champion. No mention of his accolades with interest. Just where he hailed from, his record, and his name. Yet, Jake Paul, I'm glad he got knocked out. That was a technical knock. Well, it really wasn't a technical knockout. It was a knockout. But he came to the ring in his Hulkamania year. He walked out initially with, "I am a real American." Okay. Kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Then Tekashi 6ix9ine takes him to the ring. That should have been a telltale sign. I wanted Joshua to knock him out early. Just for wearing Hulkamania and coming out to that song. And then Tekashi. Okay. I don't know if there's a clause in those contracts whereas you can't, the actual boxer, the professional boxer, because it was a sanctioned match. It counted. It was sanctioned. Where the known professional fighter, two-time former world heavyweight champion, can't knock you out in the first round. Because I know Joshua said he's going to fill him out. He's going to fill him out. What you saw was every time Jake got hit, or he would go in, he would try to take him down. Like he's wrestling. He tried for a single leg, a double leg. Kept getting smushed down. He got some shots in. He did. But I don't understand why Joshua waited until the 5th round to finish him. He literally because Jake was, on his toes the first round or two. Round 3, when he wanted to trade, Joshua should have knocked him out then. Not 2 rounds later. You could 25-pound difference in weight. Both made the heavyweight, amount or whatever. But Josh was normally 230, 240. Jake was what, 219? I give him credit for going into the ring with a current boxer that's former 2-time world heavyweight champion, seeking to be 3-time world heavyweight champion. But that fight should have not gone 5 rounds. Boxing. I will say this. The entertainment value was not really there, except in the undercard. The undercard had some good fights, some stone cold knockouts. Anderson Silva looks like he's going to kick my boy and then knock him out. Look, I don't know if Woodley's still part of American Top Team or if he's a part of the Gorillas or whatever it is. But bro, you got to remember, y'all not kickboxing. Y'all not in the UFC. It was a boxing match. So for Anderson to lift that leg, he played a mind game on you. Literally, he played a mind game and put you to sleep. You weren't the only one to go to sleep, but it is what it is. I got 2 messages. Let me see who they are. Yes, we live, Specialist Gubby. And that's still ain't going to stop you from going to wrestling match. You know what? Hey, B, you right. I'ma still go to wrestling. I don't like Hulk Hogan. Or nothing to do with Hulk Hogan. Ever since what happened. I know he apologized. But the boys and girls in the back knew how he really felt and was. We can say a lot of things, but it's our actions that make the difference. Stone Cold action, not Stone Cold Steve Austin, but our actions, which makes the difference, right? I'm not knocking on his legacy. I'm not knocking on what he did for the industry. I'm knocking on the person, a real person that portrayed Hulk Hogan was the complete opposite of Hulk Hogan. Vince McMahon made Hulk Hogan. Terry Bollea played Hulk Hogan. All right. But that boxing match, undercard was okay. The ladies fought pretty good. Pretty good, man. I thought that was some good fighting. And Jake Paul got introduced like he was a god. The largest female boxing promoter in the world. I'm like, you're standing in the ring across from a 2-time unified world heavyweight champion. It don't matter who walks out first, walks out last, whatever. Come on. All right. Let's get to college football playoff. I'm going to say this. Oklahoma, you had that game. That game was yours to win. It slipped all away. All away. Gone. Bama, will lose to Indiana. I honestly believe that. And that kid, uh, Mez, I forgot the kid who won the Heisman Trophy. He's the real deal quarterback. The real deal quarterback. If Bama's quarterback does not step up and step out the first quarter, quarter and a half, and stop being a second half quarterback, Indiana's going to beat them. They really are. But Bama beat OU. I want to talk a little bit about what happened with James Madison versus Oregon. Everybody thought it was going to be a huge blowout. They lost, yes. They didn't lose by 21 like the spread was. It was 51-34. How many teams have scored 34 points on Oregon this year? Think about that. James Madison University, alma mater of one of my favorite, if not my favorite NFL player, Gary Clark, put 34 points. They're a mid-major versus a Power 5. They put 34 points on Oregon. Oregon wins 51-34. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. James Madison wasn't supposed to score, according to a lot of analysts. He put 34 points on them. Outstanding. Good job, James Madison. And you represented your conference well, even in defeat. Even in defeat. That one game probably took some JUCO kids or some 3 to 4 star kids and sent them to James Madison. It's in Virginia. It's a nice location. It's a conference that you can win continually. And to put on a good performance like you did, excellent. Tulane and Ole Miss. Now, I thought Tulane was going to do a better job than they did. I can't say Tulane was not competition for Ole Miss, but Ole Miss looked like a Power 5 team. They are. Not like a word. Lane Kiffin left behind several of his coaches that helped Ole Miss get to where they were. So they really didn't miss a beat. The only difference was the decision making. Lane Kiffin decides one way, the interim head coach decides another way, but the result was the same. A decisive victory over Tulane. I thought, just me, I thought Tulane would perform like James Madison did versus Oregon, and that it would be a tougher game for Ole Miss. No. Tulane laid an egg. That means Ole Miss moves on. And Ole Miss takes on Georgia. Tough game right there, guys. Oregon moves on to take on Texas Tech. And I believe Texas Tech is going, they're the 4th seed. So it's a 4-5 matchup, right? I think Texas Tech defeats Oregon, especially after seeing what, James Madison did. 34-51. Now, again, they didn't lose by 20 or 21. They lost. It was almost. They covered that spread. Tulane lost 41-10. That's supposed to have been a 17-point spread. They lost by 31. To the game that surprised most of us, I'll say this. Miami's defense showed up. Beck didn't show up. That offense didn't show up for Miami. They won 10-3. I was not expecting that game to be a low-scoring game. A total of 13 points. Texas A&M, they're explosive. Very explosive, right? Miami has been Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde all season. All season. And when they're that way, you don't know what you're going to get. But that defense showed up and caused a lot of havoc for A&M. I lost this one. I had Texas A&M beating Miami. I should have picked Miami to cover the spread. I did not. But I actually thought A&M was just going to bulldoze them because I don't believe in the offense in Miami. Now, Miami's reward, they get to go play OU. Ohio State. OSU. I got to call them the OU because that's their claim, the real OU, whatever, right? They're the number one seed for good reason. I don't know if they can shut down the offense of Ohio State, meaning Miami. The U, if they can pull this off, they're going to upset a lot of people. But in order to do so, Beck has got to matriculate that ball down the field. All right? I'll say this. He did more for them than Cam Ward did. With less talent, by the way. Cristobal has done his job in Miami. He won that bowl game. The college football playoff bowl game. Now he's going to face Ohio State. Can he get the same energy out of that defense that he did this past Saturday? I don't know. I think Ohio State relies heavily on that one receiver who is a monster. But they need to pound some more that Miami front. To slow them down, man. They're pretty good. They are pretty good. But I just don't think the entire team is better than Ohio's. And again, I'm not an Ohio State fan, but if they're not in the championship, of course, I got Georgia beating Ole Miss, right? I like Ole Miss. I do. I just think Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, because that's where it's going to be played, is going to be tougher to beat. Of course, in Tulane, but it's a different beast. It's a different beast. Miami and the Cotton Bowl versus Ohio State, that's neutral pretty much, right? Cotton Bowl's in Texas. Miami's in Florida. Ohio State is Ohio State. I think you have more Georgia fans traveling to the Sugar Bowl, even though Ole Miss is closer. I think you're just going to have a lot more fans of Georgia in that Sugar Bowl. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little tired. The Rose Bowl, Bama, Indiana, no big advantage, right? No big advantage. But I believe Indiana's going to beat, Alabama. Alabama starts slow. They start slow versus Indiana because Indiana has good defense, man. OU does as well, but I don't know what happens. I don't. Oregon and Texas Tech, and the Orange Bowl. Again, these are all really good neutral sites. I think the only site that will have a real advantage is probably going to be the Sugar Bowl. I really think so. These should be some very good matches. I don't know why my video is choppy. I don't know. But that's the college football playoff. That is the college football playoff, okay? It's pretty good. Very good football going on. These kids have what, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks since the last game, so I didn't expect it to be stellar defensive games, but we got at least one of them. I mean, stellar defense, but it is what it is. With that being said, it's time to move on to the NFL. And let's go over last week's record. Look, I'm going to tell you, man. I didn't do too hot. I didn't think Atlanta was going to beat the Buccaneers, so I started off 0-1. Had the Bears, had the Ravens, had the Texans, had the Jaguars, had the Chiefs losing. I gotta check that. I think I had the Chiefs winning. I think I had the Chiefs winning. Oh, look at there. I can't find it. So I'll give myself, because I can't remember, I'll give myself an L. So that's 2 losses, right? I had the Patriots losing to the Bills. I had us. Commanders winning, the Eagles winning, the Broncos winning. I had the Lions winning, but they lost. I had the Panthers winning, but they lost, so that's 4 L's. I had Seahawks, 49ers, and I had the Cowboys. So I lost 5 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I went 10 and what? 10 and 6, 10 and 5 last week. Still, decent. Not to the level I should have been, though. Not to the level I should have been. 10 and 6. But this week, I've already started off pretty good. I'm going to write them down on my pad. Because if I don't write them down on my pad, I always forget, right? So, I had the Eagles beating my Commanders. I had Green Bay beating the Bears. So, I'm 1-1 so far, right? Let's get to this week. Now, Christmas is happening. So I'll talk about those Christmas things at the end of this, okay? Buccaneers and Panthers. Both are 7-7. This is pretty much, let me see what the Falcons record is, honestly. It's not going to happen, but the Falcons can get a 3-way tie with these guys. Because one is going to lose. Well, they can finish second. One is going to, unless it's a tie. Woo! Wouldn't that be something? Buccaneers and Panthers. Okay. The Panthers had a layup versus the Saints. But the Saints defense last week, or the last 2 weeks, have turned it on. I don't know if that's going to continue. I think Baker Mayfield, he's got Mike Evans back. He's got Ibuka, and he's got Godwin. He's got a strong run game and a good defense. I don't want to sleep on the Panthers though, but I am today. I'm picking the Buccaneers to win versus the Panthers. Look, there's some incentives in this game. Rico Dowdle needs a touchdown to get a bonus. He needs 100 and something yards rushing to get a bonus. I think they're going to try to do that. But in the process, I don't think they're going to be able to continue to run Rico, because I think the Buccaneers are going to throw the ball pretty well and effectively and win the game. In the next game, the Bills and the Browns. Look, there are incentives in this game. First thing is this. Myles Garrett can tie. He can tie the all-time record in sacks in the NFL in this game. No one's laid down for him. No one's giving him a sack. And I'm quite sure it's going to be tough to get Josh Allen down. He's not going to fold up just because Myles Garrett is a good guy. No. And I'm PO'd at the Cleveland Browns. That defense has disappeared over the last 2 games. I am not sure what happened. But it's like they stopped learning, or they stopped running. I mean, hold on. They stopped. I'm saying it differently because I'm messing myself up. It's like they forgot how to stop the run game. And then because of that, the DBs are in a more precarious situation, a peculiar situation, and the DBs are getting beat. I don't know what happened, but the Bills are going to beat the Browns. It don't matter what Shedeur does. Doesn't matter what Jenkins does. And Jerry Jeudy, don't say not one more thing to that quarterback. Especially, never mind. But I definitely have the Bills beating the Browns. And I don't think you do Shedeur any favors, Kevin Stefanski, by 1 week saying he's the starter for the rest of the year, and then in the press conference after the loss, you're non-committal. He had one bad game. I get it. But stick to your guns, guy. Chargers and Cowboys. Now look, I hate the Cowboys with a passion. The Eagles have already won the division. The Cowboys going 8-7-1, not gonna happen. Playing the Chargers at 10-4, who have a playoff spot, but not a bye. They're looking to fine-tune some things. Yes, the Cowboys can score, but no, the Cowboys can't stop anybody. Diggs returns, their top cornerback. Him and Bland, the 2 corners for Dallas, are paid rather well, but they're not run-stopping linebackers or linemen. Quentin Williams and Wilson, this is a game, this game right here, where that's going to have to come into play. Tackles for the Chargers have been out for a while, but they can still run the ball. Justin Herbert still has a live arm, but again, not that much time. So Ladd McConkey, Johnson, and Keenan, Isla, I'm not looking too much from them. But I am looking for a lot from Amari Hampton and Vidal. I think this is going to be a boring game. You have one of the highest scoring teams in the Cowboys versus one of the most power running teams in the Chargers. And the Cowboys aren't that good on defense. But those two additions, we'll see what happens. But I got to go with the Chargers. Just because I hate the Cowboys. And I think the Chargers are the better team. I don't care if it's in Dallas. Makes no difference to me. Jets at Saints. Now look. Before we all start believing in the Saints, because I don't. Before you start believing in Saul or Sal, I don't. The only reason why I believe the Jets lose this game is because we don't know what's going to happen with Tyrod Taylor. He's throwing in no names. I think he got injured a little bit, but the Saints defense has turned up. Last 2 weeks, they have been massively improved, putting their offense in positions to win, and they have. They beat the Bucks and they beat the Panthers, the two teams that are sitting on top of their division, and probably counted them as a win. Sadly mistaken. Now the Saints are the favorite. Hey, Chase Young, go hunt. That defense needs to produce because right now it's Breece Hall and not that much else in the Jets. Jets are 3-11. Saints are 4-10. I've got to go with the Saints. I don't want to go with the Saints, but I'm going to buy that fool's gold for this one game. For this one game, I'm going to buy that fool's gold. Watch they disappoint me. But maybe not. Maybe not. Here we go. Vikings and Giants. I'll be damned. I did not know. Well, I did know. I didn't believe that the Vikings could do that to the Cowboys without giving Justin Jefferson the ball as often as he should get it. I know McCarthy's feeling himself. He beat a Dallas Cowboys team in Dallas that looked terrible. The Giants aren't that good. They're 2-12. Jackson Dart, he's working with what he's got. But this is Brian Flores' defense. Do not mistake this as a powerhouse offensive team. They are 6-8. It is by far a defensive team. I didn't realize Adam Thielen wasn't with Minnesota anymore. But that's good because now Aaron Rodgers has another receiver to throw to. But the receiver to get in this game, Addison. He has more rapport with Addison than he does with Justin Jefferson. I don't know why. But the Giants aren't a sad sack on defense. They're not. I'm going to go with the Vikings. However, I would not be surprised if the Giants surprise the Vikings. They're bad, but they're not ultra bad. They have opportunities to win games. I think it's like midway through the third quarter in the last couple games for the Giants, they're like, nah, we going to get the first overall pick. Doesn't always work out that way. And who do you want at number one anyway? Now, next year, You get Malik Neighbors back for Jackson Dart. Great plus. Are you going to go get the kid from Ohio State and tag team him because Cam Scatterboo comes back? Or do you get the best offensive line help that you can get? I get offensive line help. Somebody's got to protect Jackson Dart since he's not protecting himself. That's my feeling. But yes, I got the Vikings. Chiefs and Titans. Okay. Pat Mahomes is gone for the year. ACL tear. Excuse me. Chiefs are not going to make the playoffs. They've been eliminated. They're 6-8. Titans are 2-12. I'm going to tell you, the Titans have been playing better football. Been playing better football for the last couple games. Gardner Minshew, no Rashee Rice. That makes you depend on Hollywood, Worthy, Kelsey, Pacheco, and Hunt. I'm not saying you can't win with that, but this might be an upset. But hell no, I ain't picking the Titans. I ain't picking the dang Titans. Y'all know I got a thing. I do not like Cam Ward. Period, point blank. I believe Cam Ward is maturing. And my stance on him, I think it might change next year. It all depends on his progression. But right now, for this season, that's just me. Bengals at Dolphins. Now look, this was supposed to be like the Sunday night game or whatever, but it got flexed out because both teams aren't that good. Miami's like, hey, we're going to keep McDaniel. Here's a choice. McDaniel or Tua? Let me ask the chat. In the chat, please post. Should Miami keep the head coach or the quarterback? Or get rid of both? That's a legit question. I think McDaniels is the better coach for that team. I think he's an excellent head coach. I don't know what to say about Tua and the team, but Tua is not as good as he was, and he's not getting any better. He's thrown for less than 150, 170 yards the last 3 games. Prior to that, he hadn't thrown for more than 220 yards, I believe, since the Cheetah got hurt. That was early on in the season. Yeah. There's a reason why you find Tua on your waiver wire well before he got benched. So, again, the question is, if you're a Dolphins fan, Dan Carr, I know you're a Dolphins fan, do you keep Tua or do you keep the head coach? Or do you jettison both? Leave your comments, folks. I mean, I'm going to come back to the live and hopefully I'll have some there. If not, I'll reply on the different platforms. As my students said, like, subscribe, and share. I gotta share these videos with y'all, man. I gotta share these videos with y'all. I love my students, man. I love them. Anyway, let me get back. Here we go. We've got Falcons at the Cardinals. Look. So I'm the number 1 seed in my league, right? And I had Jacoby Brissett, who was doing excellent, right? but we also are a keeper league. And someone dropped Drake May. Now, I know Drake May was not putting up the numbers like Jacoby Brissett. Y'all can check. I'm not BSing you. So I took the opportunity, and I didn't think I was going to get him, because I was the people that could get him. I was like second to last, but nobody else bid on him that could beat me. Crazy, right? So I dropped Jacoby Brissett. In another league, I didn't like how Kirk Cousins performed the past couple weeks. And then he goes out and he obliterates Tampa. I had already dropped him for Marcus Mariota leading up to last week. So I dropped him. I won my game, but I could have dominated my game. Going back to my league, my opponent had Tua. And he thought he was going to grab Tua off the waivers because he bid on him. We have a rule. And the rule is, and I don't think he understands, but the rule is only those in the top 6 in the playoffs can put a waiver claim in for a player on Tuesday, right? Well, Baker Mayfield was dropped on Tuesday. So instead of grabbing somebody to replace Tua once he learned that he was out, he put a bid in for Baker. But someone else had more money. Now remember what the rule is. The rule is only the top 6 can put a claim in for Wednesday's waivers. After that, anybody can grab a player because you're still playing for something. They're playing for the person at the end of the playoffs that ends up number 12 has to pay the Champions League fee the following year. So that's why I allow the bottom 6 to go to the waivers and free agency after the top 6. Okay? So he gambled. He put in a lower bid and someone else got Baker. But he ended up getting Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins versus a beat-up Arizona secondary. Oh, my God. I usually ride with Kirk. But I couldn't pass up on Drake. And I wasn't going to drop Drake and pick up Jacoby again. But Jacoby's getting Marvin Harrison Jr. back. Wilson has shown up. McBride is their all-world guy. Is it going to be Carter? Is it going to be DeMarcus? Who knows who the running back is going to be for Arizona? But we do know this. Kirk Cousins likes throwing the ball to Kyle Pitts. He's not connecting that well with anybody else. Very honest. Arizona secondary, even though they're down a lot of people, they still got Budda Baker there. And the linebackers are really good. And the linemen can get pressure. My hope is that Kirk does not do well in this game, but the Falcons do well enough to win. I know. I'm a season ticket holder for the Cardinals, and I gave those tickets to my son, one of my sons, so he and his girlfriend can go and enjoy the game. Have a date, on Dad. But I need to watch that game. I got to watch that game because, for me, there's a lot of fantasy implications with those two quarterbacks. Between Kirk Cousins and Jacoby Brissett, I got a lot tied up in there. Right? I really want to demolish and destroy my opponent in my league. He knows why. But he had Puka Nacua, who got 85 points by himself. Last night, he lost Jordan Love to a concussion. I'm not saying I'm happy about it, but I ain't saying I'm not thankful for it. His team, well, you know what? I'll do the fantasy stuff after this. I got to pick the Falcons to win the game, but I would not be surprised if the Cardinals win. Actually, I'm going to root for the Cardinals to win. I'm conflicted. Jaguars and Broncos. Big game here. Big game, Jaguars, Cardinals, right? Here's the thing. I told you guys that it was going to come down to Jacksonville or Houston to win that division. This was when it was still like 6-7 games left, right? I saw what was happening with Indy. They were a product of their schedule. Then they lose Daniel Dimes, and it's over, right? The 21-day window for Anthony Richardson has been open, even though they went out and got Phillip Rivers, which is cool. Phillip didn't do bad, but he didn't do extra good. But, hey, they're going to bring a younger guy in, and we'll see what happens. But Jacksonville, remember what I said, it's who you play, right? It's who you're going to play. And in this case, the Jaguars are playing the Broncos. The Broncos are the number 1 seed right now, 12-2. They're looking to win. Well, they're going to win the division. I think this is a winning division game. And Jacksonville, they're looking to stay in the playoff hunt and win the division. I think they're going to win the division. I think Houston will. So I have the Broncos winning the game, right? Jacksonville making the playoffs, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because they got to end the season potentially for the division versus Houston. And Houston's on a heater. They're on a heater. Steelers at Lions. Look. I like this game, right? I mentioned Adam Thielen is in Pittsburgh. Valdez Scantling is in Pittsburgh. That means DK Metcalf might show up, right? He did last game. Rodgers has at least 2 bona fide receivers to go with DK. And with that being the case, you got to look at it from a sense of they can run the ball, they're passing the ball better, and Detroit is on life support. Steelers have 1 game up on the Ravens. So if they drop this game to the Lions, they still have a shot at winning the division. But if Detroit loses this game, they're done. They have more to lose. They're at home. I think the Lions show up and win the game. Raiders, Texans, what'd I tell you? Jaguars will be 10-5. After losing to the Broncos, Texans will be 10-5 after beating the Raiders, setting up a legit winner-take-all game next week. And in that game, Patriots and Ravens. If the Steelers lose, they'll be 8-7. But if the Ravens lose to the Patriots, they'll be 7-8. Still 1 game back, and they're going to need the Steelers to lose again. But the Steelers hold the tiebreaker. So, the Patriots are 11-3, coming off a loss to the Bills. I thought they would. But I don't know what's going to happen here either. Because in my league, I have both these quarterbacks. I have Drake May, and I got my guy Lamar. So I'm watching this game for sure because my fantasy hopes in my league I run lie in this game. I have both quarterbacks and both number one receivers for these teams, Stephon Diggs and Flowers. I'm hoping this is a shootout and both receivers go over 100, get in the end zone once or twice. Don't know. It's Baltimore. We'll see. But Baltimore's fighting for their life. They're fighting for their life. Patriots have not sewn up the AFC East yet. So they're fighting to win the East. Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken, what is Buffalo? Buffalo is 10-4. They won the last game. Will it come down to week 17? Week 18, I should say. I don't know. But if the Ravens win, it's going to be tough sledding for the Patriots to win that division with 2 games left. I think they'll do it, or 1 game left. I think they'll do it, but it's going to be tough. They've already exceeded my expectations of 9 to 10 wins. So to get 12 or 13 wins, outstanding. Outstanding, right? But I got the Ravens winning this game, man. Because they're on life support. Last game, Monday night, 49ers and Colts. Old man Rivers tries to make this a slobber knocker. They're going to run Jonathan Taylor like crazy. That means CMC. This is CMC versus Jonathan Taylor. And if you don't think the other running backs don't want to have the better numbers than their opponent, you are mistaken. CMC's going to catch and run the ball. Jonathan Taylor's going to run the ball. They might even throw it to him a few times. But again, the Colts are on a downward trajectory. They lost to Seattle in a very tough game on the road at that. But it is what it is. I got the 49ers going into Indy and winning the game. All right. So let's review the wins and losses, shall we? Eagles, I can already check them off as a win. Green Bay, I can check them off as a loss. Bucks, Bills, Chargers, Saints, Falcons, Chiefs, Broncos, Lions, Texans, Ravens, 49ers. Now, at this point, I would normally give you a teaser. And why not? I'm gonna give you man, I'm not confident though. All right. With teasers, some of these guys I'm picking will have like double-digit, room. Right? Double-digit room. I'm gonna give you the Bucks, the Bills. The Bucks, the Bills, the Broncos, the Texans, the Lions, because that could go either way. It really could. And the Vikings. So my teaser pick, if you play a teaser, the Bucks, the Bills, the Vikings, the Broncos, the Lions, and the Texans. Right now, the Broncos are the only favorite, but they're not favored by much. But they become a dog once you get to 6.5. And the Texans are favored. I think they're like 10, 15-point favorites, so they'll only be favored by like 6 or something like that. But outside of that, that's what I got for you. My teaser picks. All right, guys. fantasy time. Fantasy time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen, okay? I'm going to share my screen. Share my world. I can't sing, y'all. Y'all know I can't sing, but it's okay. I'm gonna share my screen and bring up uh this matchup, right? Okay, here we go. I am the god of war, and I'll just show you. I'll show you all what it is that. Oh no 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 no! Wrong button! Wrong button! Wrong button! Here we go. Share my screen. Fantasy. So over here, you see what I'm playing for? That was the entry fee. That was the entry fee. I'm second in points, but I'm fourth in the rankings, right? No, I was fifth in the ranking. Crazy, right? But second, right? No, excuse me, second, the second seed, fifth seed, first seed, right? But this is the league I want to talk to you about because the Neighborhood Street Football 2 League is the one that I run. So let's go here, right? Let's go to the matchups. You can see right there. I'm projected to win. However, that 85.5 from Puka Nacua, 225 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, 12 receptions. I need Stefan or Zay to do that. I need Jamar and Christian McCaffrey to do that. Kenneth Walker already did his job for me. He well exceeded what we thought he was going to do. Right? He had a rushing touchdown. Um, he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Whatever. Um, no, he had 1 rushing touchdown and one was for 40 yards. That's what that is. That's what that is. But looking at the team, the Packers gave him a half a point. They were projected to give him 10. This is why I'm on the Saints today. I'm not gonna lie. This is why I'm on the Saints. I need that 16.19. I need it. I need it. Right? Myers, I needed that 8. He only gave me 2. Bobby gave him 9 when he was only supposed to give him 5. I was supposed to get 7, only got 6. But let's go down this thing. Jordan Love, out with concussion. He's done. That means he only has Kirk Cousins. Remember, I said I'm rooting for Kirk to do well, but not too well, because I want Atlanta to win the game, but I don't want him to do well enough to beat me. That's where that came from. And there's Drake May. You might say, how did I get Lamar, Flowers, Diggs, Gibbs, McCaffrey, McBride, Evans, Walker, May? You really don't care about Myers. And my IDPs, Brooks, Swearinger, Braun, all those people were my wits. Also had DJ Moore, Watson, Brandon Robinson Jr., Gasecki, the Patriots defense, the Rams defense, which I'm glad I left Singleton, but I also got Scatterboo and Rasheed Rice, right? So I told you we're a keeper league. My keeper was Jamar Gibbs. Okay. We traded draft picks. You can trade draft picks. So the first trade I had was with Mr. Taylor, Jerry Taylor. And it was, I was going to send one of my other keepers, which was Drake London, to him for Michael Penix. We did that. Had Michael Penix the number 2 quarterback all season until he got hurt. Then I dropped him, used Kirk Cousins once or twice, got disappointed. And that's when Kyler Murray got benched or got hurt, and then subsequently didn't get his job back. I picked up Jacoby Brissett. And that's that whole story about how I dropped Jacoby Brissett to get Drake May. Okay. Now, I further traded away. I went all in this year. I traded away because I have a rule. If you pay your fee for the following season and the other person pays their fee for the following season, you can trade draft picks for next year. So I traded my first overall pick next year for the right to get back in the first round because I traded up. At the beginning, I was at the bottom of the draft. Or I was in the middle of the draft. I traded up 3 or 4. No, I traded up to number 3, I believe. Number 3 from number 8 to get Lamar Jackson. Now, my plan was not to get Lamar Jackson. That was not my plan. But that's who I got when I made that futures pick trade. Excuse me. Let me backtrack. That was not a future picks trade. That was a current year trade I made with Van. He got my first overall pick and my second pick. I got his first overall pick, which was the third pick in the draft. Okay. It was the third pick in the draft. So I went from 8 to 3. That was the first pick. Then I traded, and I got Lamar with that pick. Then the futures pick, which I did with Tony, I got Christian McCaffrey. And when I got Christian McCaffrey, so many people laughed. They were like, "Are you crazy? He's washed. He's done." We know who said he was washed. We already know who said that. Right now, that guy's 3-13. So I paired those two. I paired them. Similar style of play because I wanted Bijan Robinson. Bijan went number 1, right? Then Josh Allen went number 2 because quarterbacks are king in this league, except when these guys go off, honestly. I drafted Zay to go with Lamar. Stephon was a late pick. McBride. How'd I get McBride? Because Mike Evans was my original number 2 guy, right? Another futures pick. But it didn't cost me a first rounder. It was a late round pick. But as long as people paid, I have no problem with it. You might have a problem with that. That's okay. But my rule is if you're committed to the league and you pay now for next year, I have no problem. You've done more than anybody else that complains. I don't care about those that's going to complain that may or may not come back next year. You've put your money down. You said you're going to return. So therefore, I listen to you, not the jokers that want to talk crap and are on the fence. I'm not playing for on the fence. I'm playing for commitment. But this is what we're trying to accomplish. I'm trying to get 265. He wants 256. I just want to win the matchup. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4 players play. 2 of his big dogs. But look, he still has JJ, James Cook, going against Cleveland, who's been giving up the cheeks in the run game. Travis Etienne, that's going to be tough because Denver's a tough team. Denver's tough. And he's got Kurt. I'm not really worried too much. Well, Aaron Jones might go off, but I'm not really worried too much about another team. I mean, another set of players. But with Jordan Love getting that 6, that helped me out immensely. I need McCarthy to forget about Justin Jefferson like he has all season. Just forget about it. He doesn't exist. Throw it to Addison. Although against the Giants, I don't know if that's going to happen, bro. And I need Cleveland to stop the run, man. Just stop it. And stop him in the passing game. And Travis, that's going to be tough either way. Either way, that one's tough. I mean, Denver, they're no joke. They are no joke. All right, guys. So that's the matchup in this league. I got a similar matchup in the other leagues where I'm in. Ooh, okay. All right. I got a similar matchup in other leagues, but I'm the favorite in only this one and another. Pray for your boy. So let me stop sharing and I can close that. With that being the case and everything, that's going to do it for the show. Let me do a recap of Week 16's games and then my teaser. I had the Eagles, Green Bay, the Bucks or Buccaneers, Bills, Chargers, Saints, Vikings, Chiefs, Falcons, Broncos, Lions, Texans, Ravens, and 49ers. My locks for the teaser, again, for a teaser, Bucks, Bills, Vikings, Broncos, Lions, Texans. All right. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for being a part of the show. Whether you made a comment or you are here to get a little information. I'll cut this up, put it on my different platforms, and I appreciate you all immensely. Go Arizona Coyotes. We defend the den and we make things happen. We appreciate you. And yeah, I think I'm about to be out. I'm out, dog.
Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Get ready to rumble!
You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
Remember,
face.
because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Oh!
Jerry's gonna get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought?